So let's take a look at what we're going to look at during today's session. So let's start off with the fundamental data. I'm going to just show you some fundamental data, very basic fundamental data that I pulled from GuruFocus. What I did is I said, show me all S&P 500 stocks, and what I wanted to have is the forward PE ratio. What this is basically looking at is what are analysts expecting next year EPS to look like, and what is the PE ratio relative to next year's earnings expectations. Then what I have is future EPS growth rate, meaning what are analysts expecting the EPS to grow, their earnings to grow at over the next few years? What are they expecting revenue to grow at? And these are all percentage basis. So if you see 5.44, that's 5.44% growth per year, and revenue growth of 2.44 is representing 2.44% revenue growth per year. Then when we look at net margins, those three metrics are incredibly important to me because it tells me how fast do analysts expect this company to grow and how profitable is this company at the very moment. And then those are inputs that help me understand whether this company is growing faster than average, growing slower than average, is it more profitable than average, less profitable than average? And then that is a factor into the valuation, right? Because you can calculate an average valuation. And if something's growing faster than average, you would expect it to have a higher than average valuation. Vice versa, if something is growing slower than average, then you would expect it to have a lower than average valuation. However, there are many instances where you'll find that a company is trading perhaps at a lower valuation, but it's expecting to grow pretty quickly, or vice versa, a company that's not growing at a very high valuation. And those are kind of the outliers, if you will, that you're looking for as a starting point, because those are ones that are potentially have a better opportunity from a fundamental perspective. Okay, so that's what I want to show you how to do that analysis using ChatGPT. Now, I used to do this work manually. I used to download sheets like this. I used to calculate averages, medians for all of these growth rates, look at average margins. Then what I'd go through is manually, I'd go through all of the names and look at, okay, where do I see ones where it looks like the growth rate's pretty fast, but the valuations are relatively low, or vice versa. Valuations are relatively high, but growth rates are relatively low. And it would take me a couple of hours every single week to go through a list like the S&P 500 and say, okay, here are maybe at the end of the day, I might find 30, 35, 40 names that, are either undervalued or overvalued. And then I would start doing some technical research on those specific names. And only when something aligns on both the technical and the fundamental side do I bring it up in the research that I present to you guys every single Monday morning. So it's quite a bit of involved process to do this work, but it's work. It's work that's worth it if you're able to do it. So what I want to do is try to show you how we can automate as much of this as possible.